what's going on, guys? It is FoxyDude98 here, and welcome back to a brand new F1 2017 career mode video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we are back with season 2 of my career modes here for AMG Mercedes, and today we're here for the Chinese Grand Prix. If you guys do enjoy today's video, don't forget to click a like on the video, that'd be absolutely awesome. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. And guys, the continued support on these series is absolutely amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. So as you can see then, Chris comes over to me and he tells me that we need to do some more development work on the car. However, having a look at the development and progression, Mercedes actually made upgrades during the winter, which I never knew about. Mercedes made upgrade, I believe, to their chassis and also durability. I never made any of the upgrades. It was just made, obviously, from Abu Dhabi to Australia, which is quite cool. So, yeah, I don't really need to make any upgrades as of yet. At the moment, I feel like the car is really, really good. It's got incredible speed, obviously, and the handling is pretty good at the moment. Although, one thing that I might need to take a little look at is potentially having a look at the aerodynamics, especially on the rear of the car. At the moment, it's a little bit oversteery, but we're able to work with it at the moment. But some of the long banking corners, not quite suiting the Mercedes. But I'll have to see how it goes for the first few sets of races before I start making any changes. But guys, if you haven't checked out episode 1, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below for you guys to go and catch up in terms of where we are in this series. But as you can see then, moving on into the practice programs then, so the track acclimatization, we got a perfect score on that one. Same as you can see here for the tyre wear test, which is kind of unusual because China is normally a very tyre wear heavy track. Moving on to the fuel saving, we did something a little bit cheeky. So we're 8/10 up on our delta, so I just completely lift off the throttle and I get it straight into the purple. And that's a tip that I can give to you guys as well. If you are doing the fuel saving test and you are in the green and you've got plenty of like delta time left, feel free to just let off the throttle towards the start finish line to just move that bar up into the purple. That's what I do and it works. In the qualifying simulation run, I was not didn't do the best on that one. It started raining, which compromised it completely, and I was also struggling a lot in the middle sector. I think my aero was too low, if I'm perfectly honest. But having a look at the qualifying goals, we need to qualify on the front row and beat Lewis Hamilton. So again, really tough objectives for Mercedes, but I'm always down for this challenge with Mercedes, and I was already ready for it. So around the last corner, that was pretty much a track extension, but at least we still had 2 wheels on the track, so technically not. But across the line, we're actually 6/10 off the pace, unfortunately, all the way down in P5. But at the end of the day, it's only Q1. Hamilton in Q1 on the soft tyres going fastest. That's pretty impressive. Into Q2 we go then, and Kimi Raikkonen is currently fastest on a 1:33.3. And as the back end sort of slides a little bit, coming through the sunlight there, and we set a 1:33 flat to go fastest. Now, that's not a very quick time. I expect that to be beaten, and it was beaten because Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel just set crazy lap times in the 31s, which is absolutely mega lap times, and I might struggle to qualify on the front row here. It's going to be difficult, but into Q3 we go. Vettel sets a 1:32.2. He is on provisional pole here, but this lap from me was the best I could possibly do. It's a 1:32.6, and it is P2 on the grid, so we managed to beat the objective of getting onto the front row of the grid. I couldn't quite out-qualify Vettel. He was in another league. Lewis Hamilton, really far down the order. It's actually a 32.7, my bad, not a 32.6. But yeah, Hamilton a little bit far down. Out-qualified with Verstappen, but that was the best lap I could do. I believe I was not even in the 32s for any of the qualifying sessions in Q1 and Q2. And I just gave it everything in Q3, and I managed to get it into the 32s. So I'll take it. So that's decent for me, and it helps with the team approval. But anyway, guys, we're going to listen to the voicemail now, and it's going to be to finish in the top 2, beat Lewis Hamilton, and place, I believe, like 4th in the championship. There it is. Let's get into the race.
With that, then, let's run through the grid order. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion, and a Mercedes alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and Ricciardo, Massa, Grosjean, Stroll, and Kevin Magnussen, Perez, Hulkenberg, Daniel Kvyat, and Ocon, Sainz, Van Dorn, Jolyon Palmer, and Fernando Alonso. Ericsson and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Alright Right then guys, as you can see, we're on the grid now for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. We're going to be having a very similar scenario to Australia, whereby we've got wet weather coming in at the end of the race. So that is definitely going to take an effect in this Grand Prix. So we need to be very wary of that as we come across to start this Grand Prix. But onto the formation lap then. Pretty decent little getaway there. My practice starts that I always do. And then I just skip the formation lap there. We're on the grid now for the Chinese Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and it is lights out. Over we go here for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. It's been a good start for us, actually. A fantastic start for Sebastian Vettel. He flies off into the distance, and I'm going to quickly take the racing line into turn 1 as we brake nice and late in towards turn 1. I've actually gone really wide here, and Raikkonen, being a sneaky little man that he is, he's actually gone down the inside of us, and he actually closes the door, and Raikkonen snatches second place from us, and it's a Ferrari 1-2, the worst possible scenario for Mercedes as the back end is sliding all over the place now, and Max Verstappen getting all fancy behind us. So Raikkonen getting a little bit of revenge after I overtook him on the first corner in Australian Grand Prix. He's come back for vengeance here in the Chinese Grand Prix, but now I've just got to settle in a little bit and start working hard. Onto lap 3 of the Grand Prix now, and DRS has been enabled, and Kimi Raikkonen is absolutely flying in this Grand Prix. Not only did he find his way past me early in the race, he's actually going for it here on Sebastian Vettel as we brake very late into the hairpin here. Actually completely missed my apex there, which is very bad. But yeah, you can see Raikkonen and Sebastian fighting very hard now. Who's going to take the lead into the last corner? Kimi Raikkonen takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix, and now Sebastian will have DRS on Kimi because I believe he was behind in the detection zone. But now, as you can see, my aero is, I'm running, I believe it's 4 wings, which I think is just too little downforce for this track. I think I need a little bit more, but on the straights, nonetheless, it is really keeping me in touch with Vettel and Raikkonen. So for now, I'm not that concerned about the pace. As you can see, the top 3 are pulling away. If Hamilton can get past Verstappen, that will help us out. On to lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and Sebastian has begun to pull away, and he's now out of the DRS range of myself. However, I am pulling myself back into DRS range for the second DRS zone, which is the pit straight here. But I'm coming in for my very first pit stop of this Grand Prix now to switch to a set of soft tyres, which I'm going to potentially try and take to the wet weather period. That's the plan. If I can't do it, then I've messed up the entire strategy. But hopefully, we can look after the tyres to go that way. And as we put the soft tyres on, you can see there in the pit stops that I've changed my car number back to 98. Now, the reason that I've done this is because if you guys didn't watch the previous episode, I changed my car number to the number 1 because I'm the world champion, and you are allowed to do that this year. However, there is a bug where your car number actually changes to 0 rather than 1. Lee Mather said on Twitter that there is a fix coming in very quick time. I couldn't get my words out then, but yeah, there's a fix coming out imminent for that. And as soon as that fix is out, I will then change to the number 1 so you guys can actually see it properly. And yeah, we'll move on from there. On to lap 7 of the Grand Prix now, and we're trying to make our way past some of the traffic now that we have rejoined into. And as you can see, we go round the outside of Jolyon Palmer. And I left this clip in because that's Fernando Alonso there. That's how far back he is. It's in a McLaren Honda, remember that? Let's just use Slipstream and DRS. Remember, he's got that as well. But I'm just going to let the Mercedes power do the talking. And you were closing, and we're closing, and we're going to absolutely fly past. So, yeah, that clip right there just shows how poor the McLaren-Honda partnership is. And, of course, it is set to divorce, actually, with McLaren-Renault next in line, actually, if you guys haven't been keeping an eye on the news. But anyway, then, we're now going up to the next McLaren car, which is Stoffel Vandoorne. And we're going to go to the outside line here for turn 1. And we're going to swoop round the outside of Stoffel Vandoorne, make that move stick. But Vettel is staying out at the moment. He's not pitting, which means that this traffic, in theory, it's not actually helping us. It might help us on the straights, especially with the Alonso overtake, because that would have just given us so much more speed. But in the middle sector and stuff, trying to get past all these cars, it might just hinder us rather than help us. But we're going to go down the inside here of Carlos Sainz. He actually locks up there, and that's going to cost him some time, and we probably would have got the job done anyway, since Carlos did lock up there. Next up is Danny Kvyat in the other Toro Rosso car for P6, and Sebastian is still out on track. He's actually going through the long banking corner now towards the long back straight. You can see it there on the full map. He is the lead car. So, yes, Sebastian with a very, very big advantage. And I put the full track map on this time, just so you guys, as I can see there, I completely cut that corner. Wasn't intentional. I had a huge snap of oversteer, and I was trying to just counter the oversteer to stop it from being so bad, to the point where it actually made me cut the corner. But I lost more time than I did gain it, so it's not a huge concern. But yeah, you can see me having to really wrestle with this car. This is something that I might need to take a look at. I'm wrestling with this car a lot, as we've got some yellow flags in the background there, but that's not really a concern for myself, as we're going to now open up the DRS here, and we've got 19 runners left in this Grand Prix, so someone has obviously retired in this Grand Prix, which is a bit of a shame. and in towards this last corner now. Unfortunately, Marcus Ericsson is out of this Grand Prix, but there was actually more to it, so I rewinded backwards, and this is actually what happened. So Lewis Hamilton here, my teammate, who's also made his pit stop, comes around the long banking corner. There's a slow McLaren there, and oh my god, Lewis Hamilton has gone straight into the side of Fernando Alonso, and that's his race over with. So, oh, it's a puncture for Alonso. He's got a puncture, and then Hamilton has just gone and clattered into the side of him. Alonso's come back onto the track, and is he going to... Oh, and he's got hit by someone else. Wow, that's a huge crash there, and that sent Alonso out of the race. He's looking on board with Jolyon Palmer now, so... Of course, you have to be alert on a street circuit, and you have to be alert when there's a car in the middle of the track, and he just whacks into the side of him. Raikkonen takes a hit from that, and oh, there's someone else that's taken a hit as well, and it was Stoffel Vandoorne, so both McLarens out in literally a heartbeat, and Vandoorne just clipping there. And also that's Max Verstappen taking damage. A huge incident there. That's a massive crash. I'm surprised the safety car did not come out for that one. But now we're onto the slipstream here of Sebastian Vettel. He has rejoined in front of us after the pit stops, but he's stuck behind the Force Indias. And I'm going to try and take advantage of this with my closing speed now. Vettel with DRS in slipstream isn't quite fast enough. And down the inside here, this is for a net P1. And down the inside here on Sebastian Vettel, we make the move stick. And Sebastian's going to hold it though. But this time we do manage to make it stick perfectly there, and we're up in front of Sebastian now, and we have a net lead over Seb, and that is crucial for us in this Chinese Grand Prix. But he's going to come back at us though. Sebastian doesn't want to give up that position too easily, and as we come towards turn 1 now, we're going to try and defend from Sebastian if we can here. We run very wide into turn 1. Seb going to try and go for it here. He's going to go for it down the inside, but this time I'm a lot more aware of it after Kimi Raikkonen took me on the first lap, and I'm going to cover it off brilliantly, but I'm boxed in slightly from Sergio Perez, and I realise now these Force Indians are going to be a big problem for myself, and it's time to take some little bit of actions here. So we're getting into this slipstream with the Force Indians, and I might as well just dive bomb, not one, but both of them here, down the inside on both Force Indians. That was a kind of an emergency dive bomb, really. I had to get past the two Force Indians because, as you saw then, trying to defend from Vettel, I got boxed in slightly from Perez. Luckily, he was a fast enough car that Vettel couldn't swoop around the outside of me, but that could have been a hell of a lot worse. And on to lap 11 of the Grand Prix now. Vettel is still stuck behind the two Force Indians, and we're pulling away quite nicely now. And we need to, because Vettel has got better race pace than us, and he will inevitably close back up on us, and he's got fresher tyres, and we get past Nico Hülkenberg there with ease now into the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix, but have no sort of fear that this is going to be an easy race win from now. Sebastian has got much better pace than us, and I expect him to close in as soon as he... In fact, well, there you go, lap 16, so 5 laps later now, Sebastian has closed in on us, and the rain is now falling in this Grand Prix, which is not only going to make things worse, but with my tyres wearing out, and with my car already being a handful in this Grand Prix, it's not going to make my life much easier. And look at the debris on the track there. Surprisingly, no one gets a puncture, but Sebastian now goes for it, and you can see that I'm giving Vettel an ultimate squeeze here. I'm going to try and give him the tightest line possible into the hairpin, and look how tight his line is. Round the outside, we're just going to swoop past now, get the better traction here on Sebastian Vettel, and that's a very easy defensive maneuver there, and that's something that I've noticed in this season in F1 2017. Defending around the outside is actually easier than defending around the inside, just because of the AI's programming. But as you can see, the team want me to pit, but I'm going against that. I'm just going to keep staying out now, wait till this rain gets bad enough. But you can see Vettel's got a great run actually towards turn 1. He's actually going to go for it this time for the outside line now. Sebastian goes around the outside, and he's gone straight in front of us, but he's gone very wide onto the grass there, Sebastian, so he actually makes a small mistake there, and I'm going to have to cover him off here, and as you can see, I do so, but Vettel warning me that the back straight is not the only place that he's ready to make a move. He'll make a move anywhere on track if necessary. And on to lap 19 of the Grand Prix now. Sebastian is very close to us now as we come towards this hairpin. You can see the track conditions getting a hell of a lot worse. We're 3.8 seconds off our personal best. It's not enough yet to go onto the intermediate tyres, and we're just, look at that, just literally trying to squirm on with the throttle on board with Sebastian Vettel now here. As you can see, he's getting a very, very good run this time now. Down the back straight he goes now, opens up the DRS because it is still enabled here, and you can see that I'm going to once again give him that tight line into the hairpin to make sure that he doesn't get the run. And this time now, round the outside, we're going to get the run on Sebastian Vettel, and we go right round the outside of Sebastian, and you can see there that we make the move stick, more like. I should probably start talking properly here, but you can see now how cautious we're having to take it because of these track conditions. But yeah, just making sure that that outside line works now, and it's something that you guys may want to take into consideration. But me and Vettel, are now about 40 seconds clear of Esteban Ocon. Us two are flying, because I believe everyone's done 2 stops. Me and Vettel have only done 1, but look at that, squirming again on the power. And Sebastian, you can see this time from the rear of my mighty Merc, is under pressure from the Scarlet Red Ferrari. Sebastian is trying to show me here what it's like to be in the Ferrari, and this time you can see now as we come towards the hairpin, once again, give him that tight line, swoop round the outside, late on the brakes, and again, the defensive tactic working perfectly, and we're going to keep doing it unless Vettel tries something different, and we can just keep doing what we're doing here on lap 20 of the Grand Prix now. Last corner, and now onto the pit straight here. And as you can see, squirming on the throttle there. Lap 21, Sebastian Vettel is about to pull a masterclass. We're coming now towards the final corner. Vettel pits. My engineer is telling me of a strategy change kind of about now-ish. There it is. Lap 21, pit for intermediates. Yeah, sure thing, Jeffrey. So this is where, unfortunately, the battle is going to end between myself and Vettel. Vettel pulls in, and you'll see in the top left, in just a second, he goes onto the intermediate tyres. I thought he might do a silly switch to dries. Jeff didn't tell me till I was on the pit straight that I needed to change to inters. So I now have to do a full lap in wet conditions, and this is very reminiscent to Lewis Hamilton's mistake in Australia. It's not really a full mistake on my behalf. I should have maybe sensed it and came in to try and avoid losing out time, but it is what it is. It happens in Formula 1, and we're going to have to come into the pits and just see what the damage is between myself and Sebastian and see if we have any chance of closing the Scarlet Red Ferrari driver down, or if we have lost this Grand Prix. Into the pits now for a set of intermediate tyres. We did struggle a lot, but I didn't struggle as much as I was expecting. I was expecting Vettel to come and actually overtake me, but he never did. But there is no doubt that Vettel will rejoin him first. I believe that's him actually there. You might see him flick through on your screens. There he goes there. That's Sebastian Vettel into the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. So he's done the perfect strategy. It reminds me of Lewis Hamilton in Silverstone 2015 when he got the pit stop perfect. Rosberg had to stay out another lap, and then that cost Rosberg the chance of victory. And I think that's what's just happened here today. But we'll have to see the gap. So we've still got about 6 or 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix. About 6 laps to go. So if the gap is about 6 seconds, as we get very, very shaky on the power there, we might be able to close in. Depends on how wet weather pace is. On to lap 24 of the Grand Prix now, and the wet weather is getting worse. And this basically signaled the end of my charge. I was going after Vettel, and I lose the back end of the car here, and then I just flick it in, and we're drifting it through now. And yeah, that basically signaled the end of my pursuit on Vettel. I lost about 2 seconds from that. So from that point onwards, I was about 10 seconds now behind from Sebastian Vettel, and I was still a good 40 seconds clear of Daniel Ricciardo. So I decided at this point to accept the defeat in this Grand Prix, and I'm going to just cruise the car home. So for the last 5 or 6 laps, I literally just was short shifting for all the gears. Sebastian Vettel wins the Chinese Grand Prix. I was just short shifting through the gears and just saving the car. There was no point in pushing. There's no point in trying to challenge, because I'd be challenging for nothing in the end. But anyway, it's a very strong result nonetheless. We come across the line to take 2nd place, and it's a very, very good result. I'm not going to complain about that. I'm just a little bit disappointed that I couldn't challenge Sebastian Vettel in the latter stages of the race. But overall, it was a very, very strong, very fun race. We got outdone by the Ferraris today. Did I deserve to win the Grand Prix if I pitted the same lap as Vettel? Probably not. No, actually. The Ferraris just had the better pace round here. They just had. I just didn't quite have the best setup. I was running 4-4 wings. Probably should have run 5-5 or even 6-5 wings. Just didn't have enough for the car. It was just mixture of understeer and then oversteer, and it just didn't quite work for me today. But there's the full race classification. You can see that Vettel wins the race by 14 seconds after making that perfect pit stop and then me cruising to the end. And so many DNFs. Only 13 drivers finished. 7 DNF'd in this race, and Raikkonen down in 8th place, so a shocking result for him today. In the driver's standings then, the lead between myself and Ricciardo is now 10 points, and Sebastian Vettel picks up his first points of the season, and he's on 25 points, so a good result for him. And Lewis Hamilton, unfortunately, still on 10 points, already 33 points back in the championship to me. So he's got a lot of work to do. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes are top with 9 points. So we're still top of all the championships, but of course, we're only 2 rounds in. We've still got a lot of races to go. And it is not going to be easy at all to even think of claiming the championship as of yet. We're going to have a very strong fight. But today, Ferrari definitely had the better race pace. I used the straight line speed of the Mercedes on the back straight and also on the pit straight to stay intact with the Ferraris. Otherwise, that's where I was gaining all my time. And then in the first and middle sectors, that's when the Ferraris were pulling out that second advantage. So they were a second clear in those sectors. And then on the straights, I was able to pull it back because I was just so quick in a straight line. I was like a rocket ship. But anyway, as you can see then, that is it for today's Grand Prix. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe if you're new around here as well. And I'll see you guys for the next episode. Take care all. Thanks for watching and being so supportive. Take care all. Peace.